Good morning, everyone, and we welcome you to Cerebro's webinar entitled Strengthening Students' Academic Success. My name is Sushannal Arjanala, one of the marketing interns here at Cerebro, and I will be your moderator for today. Together with the entire Cerebro team, we would like to extend our warm greetings to all of you who have joined us here today. Yeah. While waiting for others, before we formally proceed to our program, may I request everyone to open their cameras so that we can see each other, even this is just a virtual activity. Okay, I can see some people already who are opening their cameras. Hello po to Teacher Maria Micaela. Hello po to Teacher Jo Marie. Thank you for sending in your heart reactions. To Teacher Greggy. Hello po. And to everyone, please open your cameras po. And before we start, can you wave to the right participants, to the right people behind? And you're, ayan, hello, and wave to the left. Ayan. I can see people who are waving already. Thank you so much for participating. And if you are excited for today's session, can you click in the heart reaction? Okay, let's see if there's some heart reactions already. Send in your heart reaction. Okay, I can see some people reacting heart already. Thank you so much to teachers and school administration. I'm just excited as everyone else. To formally start our program, I call in one of the Business Development Associates of Cerebro, Ms. Natalie De La Rosa, to discuss some important guidelines for our session this morning.
Thank you for that, Trisha. So hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to our webinar today. But first, let me take this opportunity to greet everyone. Hi, teachers, aspiring teachers, and of course, our school administrators are also with us right now. I hope you're all doing fine. And so as we begin our event, let me just discuss with you our webinar guidelines. Number one, you can use the chat box to interact with everyone. Please avoid using any inappropriate language or doing any untoward behavior towards the organizers and the other attendees. Number two, please make sure that your microphone is always muted during the learning session unless it's time for sharing and Q&A. Number three, we're looking forward to your active participation in this webinar, so don't be shy. We'd really love to interact with you and hear your thoughts about our topic for today. Number four, at the end of the session, we'll be giving out a link for your online evaluation form, which will also serve as the basis for the distribution of your certificates. After filling out the evaluation, you'll automatically receive your certificates via email. And lastly, we'll also have a photo opportunity with our speaker today. Again, thank you for attending and we hope you'll enjoy today's activity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Natalie. As we begin our session, let me just inform everyone that you will be given the opportunity to ask questions after the discussions. With that being said, you can send in your questions to our official Slido page at slido.com/cerebroalumnus, or you can just go to slido.com and use the event code with the hashtag cerebroalumnus, so our speaker will be able to address your questions accordingly after the talk. You may also interact with other participants, so please do not hesitate to leave your comments and messages in the chat box below. I know that you're all excited to hear from our resource person for today, but before we proceed, let us have a quick walkthrough of what Cerebro is and what problem we are trying to solve. To present that, we have the CEO of Cerebro himself, Mr. Justin Itugon.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session for today on strengthening students' academic success with Ms. Julie Mojica, the principal of the Living Stream Christian School of Cavite. So let me just give you a brief background of what Cerebro is and what we are doing. So I'm Justin and I'm the CEO of Cerebro, and we are a group of teachers who aim to innovate teaching by allowing our fellow educators, both young and seniors alike, to jumpstart e-learning amidst the pandemic and make teaching in the new normal an enjoyable passion and not just a stressful job that could give them thoughts about leaving their careers. Just to give you some sort of a user story on why we are doing this, this is teacher Anna, a grade school faculty member in a medium-sized private school, handling 8 online classes with 50 students each. However, these classes are not of the same subject since teachers in the elementary level are usually expected to teach students in several learning areas, which could also be different from the teacher's field of specialization. And because of this, Anna needs to do an extensive research about the subjects assigned to her so she could prepare her instructional materials well while also allocating time for other administrative duties such as computing grades, preparing reports, and the like. And based on data from the Department of Education, a teacher spends at least 2 hours per day for these tasks, which sums up to around 400 hours of preparation time for the entire school year. And this number has just doubled during the COVID-19 pandemic because teachers were required to produce a year's worth of digital material so their schools can get certified for online learning. And we could only imagine how stressful it is to be a teacher. And what else could we feel if we realize that this problem also becomes a pain point for school administrators after seeing a great number of private school teachers who resigned from their jobs just last year. And with this, schools are losing billions just to train new hires, whom they also cannot ensure if these teachers could withstand the pressure even for just a semester. And the Philippine Institute for Development Studies also notes that such heavy workload of teachers has a significant effect on the quality of education, leading us to rank 79th out of the 79 countries who took the program for international student assessment in the year 2018. And just last year, we have heard from the news the World Bank Education Report that states that around 80% of Filipino students fall below the required competency levels for their age. And this is very alarming. And we came to realize that if there is only one set of competencies issued by DepEd by which our students are measured, then why can't we have a single set of instructional materials coupled with auto-graded assessments and interactive and gamified learning activities that we could share with teachers coming from different schools to effectively reduce their workload and free up much of their time for their families and personal lives? So basically, our solution comes with ready-made instructional materials that teachers can just pull out from our platform to jumpstart their online teaching, and even interactive simulations that provide realistic virtual laboratory experiments that will keep students engaged with learning the fun way. And in addition, school administrators can also monitor what's happening in their learning management system and determine the system's usage data and the end user's performance. And unlike other e-learning products that focus on the platform only, we took it a step further by providing the ready-made teaching and learning materials, which we have carefully designed to align with DepEd's curriculum, allowing us to gain traction and compete with other widely used brands. And as a complementary service, we also have an online help desk where teachers and students can easily see answers to frequently asked questions. And we also set up a special hotline for school administrators so they can instantly reach out to us if they need urgent assistance. And in the coming months, we will also be launching our Learning Tool Interoperability or LTI, wherein Cerebro's ready-made contents can already be integrated with other learning management systems. So your school doesn't need to switch to Cerebro's platform if you already have an existing LMS subscription from other providers. And right now, we have covered 94% of the entire DepEd K-12 curriculum with 2,870 e-learning contents across 102 countries, which are already being used by our current partner schools. And we are aiming to reach 100% coverage of the curriculum by September 2022, just in time for the opening of the new school year. And there are over 1.2 million teachers in the Philippines who could benefit from our solution. And among this number, 300,000 are from the private school sector who do not enjoy access to the government's learning resource system. And 11,000 teachers are in the province of Cavite, where we have initially tested our products, since 76% of schools in Cavite are privately owned. Sadly, there are about 865 private schools who had no choice but to close down during the pandemic, just because they were not able to prepare digital materials and meet DepEd's minimum requirements for online learning. And this led to over 4,000 teachers losing their jobs and nearly 60,000 students who were either forced to transfer to other schools or to temporarily stop their education. And right now, we have over a dozen schools using Cerebro for their e-learning implementation, including the school of our speaker for today, Living Stream Christian School of Cavite. And we are able to help about 8,000 teachers, students, school administrators, and even parents in ensuring learning continuity during the pandemic. And our studies also show that the need for digital educational contents like what we have will continue even after the pandemic, and even as schools gradually return to face-to-face interactions. What we are seeing is that only the use of video conferencing tools such as Zoom and Google Meet for synchronous classes will be reduced, but digital learning and learning materials like that of Cerebro are here to stay. So a good 75% of our team is composed of licensed professional teachers. So our solution is something that is crafted by teachers for our fellow teachers. And we don't think that the other learning management system providers have the same experience from the field that we have, since we ourselves felt how it really is to be a teacher from the ground. And we have already received several recognitions in local and international startup competitions like Seed Stars International, the ASEAN Startup Awards, the Idea Space Acceleration Program, the Philippine Startup Week, and we are also among the startups under Kubo Innovation Hub in the DOST Tomasino Center. We currently offer Cerebro for schools on a per student per month basis with a minimum contract duration of 1 school year. And please take note that only the students will be included in the computation of the subscription fees, and the accounts of teachers, school administrators, and even parents are all given free of charge. And as for the price, our plans are actually 3 times lower than that of traditional textbooks. So overall, Cerebro is a cost-effective solution for jumpstarting online learning. So if you are a school owner or administrator, or you know of anyone who might be looking for a solution that will help address problems on faculty workload, book a one-on-one meeting with us so we can discuss how we can be partners in helping your educators to teach smart and live smart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Justin, for sharing with us how Cerebro would be a huge help towards institutions in implementing online classes and the solution provided by Cerebro itself. Now, I know that we can't wait to hear what's in store for all of us today, so may I call in again Ms. Natalie De La Rosa to introduce our guest speaker.
Hello again, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our resource person today, who is going to talk to us about strengthening students towards academic success. So today's resource speaker graduated from Philippine Normal University in 1988 with a degree in Bachelor of Standard Education, majoring in Music Education, and is their Baptist cum laude. She has been the school principal of Living Stream School of Cavite from 1996 up to present time, and she also likes cooking, writing, singing, crafting, and perfume making. So please let's give her a virtual round of applause, Miss Julie and Mojica.
Hello, good morning, everybody. It is a great honor for me to be part of this webinar today, and I hope that I will be able to impart to you some practical wisdom and principles as a teacher. So, without much further ado, I think we have to start our presentation now. So, if you have any questions you may ask later on. Okay, thank you. Okay, slideshow. Okay na ba? Okay na po. Nakikita niyo po ba yung yung slide?
Hindi pa po naka-slideshow, Miss Julie.
Ba't ganun? Bakit?
Miss Julie, you can just click the play from the start in this upper left.
Upper left.
There. Yes, there. You're already on the slideshow.
Oo, pero hindi ko makita yung sabi mong start.
Okay. You can click on the slideshow again for Miss Julie. There. And then on the first
Okay.
one.
Yan. Kita ka na. Okay. Medyo kinakabahan ako. Anyway, so our topic for today is about strengthening students' academic access. So, it is a very wide topic actually, and I hope that ma-deliver ko to in 45 minutes. So, sabi nga po, since there are so many topics that we can discuss, so I would like to focus on the 3 questions that I expect to be answered today, and mag-deliver din natin po sa ating mga estudyante. Okay. The first one is, what is academic success? Why is academic success important? And the other one is, how do students achieve academic success? So parang, alam niyo ba, nung binubuo ko to, sabi ko, ang dami kong topics na nadaanan just to come out to these 3 questions. Kasi talagang ano siya, sanga-sanga, di ba? But anyway, I hope that these 3 questions will mark our discussion today, and we'll be able to answer the following questions. So before we start, I would like to share with you a video by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I know that all of us know this poet. He is a very famous poet. And these are just some of his quotations na alam ko na encounter na natin, di ba? So I'll give you time to read. So he's also a philosopher. Sabi niya, the progress of the intellect is to the clearer vision of causes, which neglects surface differences. To the poet, to the philosopher, to the saint, all things are friendly and sacred, all events profitable, all days holy, all men divine. Sabi niya yan. And then, sinabi rin niya, unless you try to do something beyond what you have already mastered, you will never grow. And ito, I just found out that siya pala ang original na nag-quote nito, sabi niya, the only way to have a friend is to be one. So, ito yung video na gusto kong i-share sa inyo. Is
Hello, Miss Julie. May i-share
Yes.
po kayong video.
Ay, nakashare po.
Pa-click na lang po ulit yung sharing nyo. So,
Hindi po ba siya another share? Wait lang. Naku.
yes ma'am, thank you.
New share. I'm sorry. Sige, ulitin natin. Okay na.
Sige ma'am, pa-click po ulit ng new share ma'am. Then may button po sa baba na share sound.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, one more time.
Okay ma'am.
To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded.
Yan. So, share ulit ako na. Okay, so, ang ganda ng sinabi niya, di ba? And, So, yeah, okay. So, we are going to first discuss about success. So, pag sinabi natin success, it's not only for those who have already been working, di ba? As early as preschool age, meron ng mga achievements ang mga bata, di ba? In elementary, in high school, and then college. Pero sabi nga, is this academic success? So kung agree kayo, pwede kayong mag-thumbs up. Kung hindi, thumbs down. Okay ba yon? So ito po yung first statement natin. So somewhere along the line, merong mali or kulang or sobra dito sa statements na ipapakita ko sa inyo. Yan. So the first one, sabi, it is limited to project-based learning, portfolios, and student reflection. Do you agree or not? Yan. So sabi nyo, no. Bakit? Kasi academic success is including but not limited to project-based learning, portfolios, or reflection. So tama yung sagot po natin. So hindi porke nakakuha ka ng A+ sa project mo or yung grades mo, ayan, hahalaka ka na, tagumpay, tapos na. Hindi, kasi success is a process, di ba? Hindi siya pang isang beses lang. Success, di ba? Lagi natin narinig yung sabi, wow, success ako, success. Okay, so proseso yan. How about this statement? It can only be defined by a test score or even by successful completion of an assignment. Do you agree? Wala yatang ano ah. Yan, okay. So, ayan, sabi nga, it cannot only be defined by a test score or even by successful completion of an assignment. So, kung meron tayong mga estudyante na parang hindi nakaka-perfect score, parang ang tingin natin, naku, walang future itong batang to, laging mababa ang nakukuha sa recitation or sa written test. So, hindi tayo dapat mag-conclude ng ganoon. Okay? How about this one? It is making sufficient grades to pass each year to the next grade or attaining the diploma or degree that students are seeking. This may be defined as ultimately graduating from high school and college. Agree ba kayo dyan? Okay. So the answer is, it's not ultimately success, no? Na porque hindi ka nakagraduate ng college, maghihirap tong taong to kasi hindi nakapag-aral, gano'n. Hindi. So, meron naman nakatapos ng college, pero bakit ganito pa rin ang buhay niya, di ba? So, hindi natin pwedeng i-base yung academic success dahil sa pagsabi ng academic, para ano natin, scholastic performance, di ba? Pero hindi siya natatapos doon sa pag-aaral lang up to college. Okay? So what is academic success? Okay, academic success is the accomplishment. So ito, marami siyang definition. So isa-isahin natin siya. So parts lang sila. Accomplishment of the learning process, gaining knowledge, and developing employability skills. So kasama dito yung employability skills. Kung after mo bang mag-aral, ano ang magiging katayuan mo sa pagtatrabaho mo? Ano ang magiging career mo? Okay? So kasama siya as part of academic success. So it is inclusive of academic achievement, attainment of learning objectives, acquisition of desired skills and competencies, satisfaction, persistence, and post-college performance. So nakita natin dito ang lawak, di ba, ng pagkakaroon ng academic success. So academic success must center in the intellectual growth that students experience as a result of classroom instruction and learning experience. So that is according to Dr. Ladson Billings. So the true measure of student success is how well students are prepared to accomplish their current and future academic, personal, and professional goals through the development of knowledge, a sense of responsibility and self-reliance, and a connection to the college and wider community. So dito kasama na ang community. Susunod kasama na ang nation, ang country, and even the world, no? Okay, so that is academic success. And of course, building academic success requires teachers to take responsibility for the students' learning, create and sustain learning partnerships with students and families, and build students' agency in their learning. So, hindi magkakaroon ng success, syempre, kung wala ang teachers. O, palakpakan natin ng mga teachers dyan. Yan. Di ba sabi nga, kung walang teacher, walang magiging doktor, walang engineer, walang dentist, di ba? Walang bankers, and so on. So, talagang ang pagtuturo, sabi nga, this is a very noble job. And it requires responsibility for us para matuto ang bata. Sabi nga, di ba, if a teacher teaches and students do not learn, she's not really teaching at all. So para masabi natin we are effective teachers, dapat andoon yung learning sa ating mga estudyante. Hindi lang tayo basta nakapagturo, right? So we also have to create and sustain partnership with students and families. Kaya sabi nga, yung lalo na ngayon, di ba? New normal tayo, mostly homeschooling, online, hindi face-to-face. So we have more chances or opportunity para makakreate ng partnership with the parents, right? Kasi kailangan ng guidance din ng mga magulang sa pag-aaral ng mga anak nila sa kanilang mga kanya-kanyang tahanan. Okay? So, we are the agents of learning para sa ating mga estudyante. We facilitate the learning of our children. So, a motivated teacher is very important to the classroom. Diba? As teachers have a different approach to teaching than others. So, ano yung mga dapat natin gawin? So, these are actually, alam na natin to eh. Kaya, siguro, dadaanan lang natin ng konti. So, of course, we have to encourage our students because students always look for approval of their teachers. Diba? Kadalasan nga sinasabi ng mga parents, naku, teacher, pagsabihan niyo yung anak ko, sa inyo lang sumusunod yan. Parang nakakataba ng puso ng malaman na na mas sinusunod tayo ng mga estudyante natin kaysa sa mga parents. Pero hindi naman dapat ganon. We should also draw our students na sumunod din sila sa mga magulang nila. Right? And kailangan dito yung open communication. So, if we are encouraging our students, we open their hearts, mas madali nang i-open ang kanilang mga isipan to have critical thinking. Okay? The next one is we have to make learning fun. Do we make learning fun for our students? In our school, ito yung namin, lagi namin sinasabi, learning through play, learning while playing. Kaya ang mga estudyante, lalo na sa mga preschool, sasabihin ng magulang, ano ginawa mo sa school? Wala, naglaro. So sa mga bata, laro lang yung ginawa namin. Pero actually, we are already putting lessons na na-enjoy nila. Kaya akala nila naglalaro lang kami. So hindi lang sa preschool, even in grade schoolers and in high school, di ba? Pwede natin gawin yan na we could try game-based learning and competitions among our students, and so that they will be always alert. Lagi silang alerto sa mga sinasabi ng teachers. And then also have to draw connections to real life. Okay? So, nako-connect ba ng mga estudyante natin yung mga pinag-aaralan natin, o puro theory ba lang siya? Meron ba siyang applications sa daily life ng ating mga estudyante? Okay? So we also have to set performance goals. Smart performance goals. So alam natin yung SMART, di ba? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng SMART? Sige nga, someone from the teachers here, ano ibig sabihin ng SMART? Di ba? Anong ibig sabihin ng SMART? Specific. Ano yung M? Measurable. Ano pa po? Accurate. R is reliable. And T is timely. Timely or time-bound. Yes. Okay, so ito yung lagi nating gauge para sa mga goals natin. So when we are making lesson plans, di ba, dapat ang goals natin laging SMART. Merong laging performance ang mga estudyante. It's not only teacher activities lang. Laging merong katapat na activities for the students. Okay? So we also have to change scenery. So ginagawa ba natin to in our classes even during this time na online tayo, na nakaka-work kasi di ba kung nakaupo ka lang, right? So kahit na online siya, we can also still change scenery and yung ambience. Like we can also do activities na kahit na sabi mo hindi kayo face-to-face nakikita, syempre sa face-to-face madali di ba? Pero pagka ganito na online, pwede pa rin naman. Pwede pa rin naman tayo na na magkaroon ng mga activities na mararamdaman nila yung ibang environment. Okay? So we also have to step away from textbooks. So if you are a motivated teacher, hindi ka lang nakabox sa textbooks. Okay? And especially now, napakaraming resources tayong pwedeng gamitin. Mga links, nasa internet yan, na magagamit natin para maturuan yung mga estudyante natin. Yan. Don't overcorrect. So, kapag nag-recite yung bata, meron siyang sinabing word na mali, huwag natin siya i-correct habang hindi pa siya tapos magsalita. Kasi pagka ganun, nag-distract sila, di ba? So, patapusin natin, saka natin i-correct. Hindi yung word for word, correct tayo ng correct. Kaya ang bata, shut down na yung niya, yung isip niya para magpatuloy sa gusto niyang i-express. Kasi baka mali na naman ang masabi niya. So, do not overcorrect. Okay? And you can also hand over some control. So, it's not always the teacher who says what to do. We can also teach our children how to decide for themselves, how to make choices. Okay? So, hindi yung kung ano sinabi lang ni teacher, yun na yun. Diba? So, we can also hand over some control so that they can feel na meron talagang merong rapport, merong andun yung respect na pag sinabi ni teacher to, merong consideration din sa mga estudyante natin or sa mga situations nila. Pero dapat syempre, pa rin tayo, taki pa rin ang teacher. Kasi baka mamaya, naiisahan na pala tayo ng estudyante natin. Oo lang tayo ng Hindi naman ganun. Kailangan balanse. Okay? So, we also have to track improvement. So, if we are motivated as teachers, nakaka-influence yun sa mga estudyante. They will also be influenced to become motivated students. Okay? By tracking their improvements. So when we track improvements of our students, we don't compare one student after another. We compare the student sa performance niya by himself. Last quarter, ganito ka. Ngayon, mas okay kasi nag-improve yung mo, ganito, ganoon. Yung study habits mo, I can see that you're improving because you are consistently doing your homeworks. Parang ganon. So, when we track improvements, one by one, hindi siya i-compare natin yung isang estudyante sa isang, ba't siya ganoon? Ba't ikaw ganito ka? So, hindi ganon ang pag-track na improvement natin. Okay, so we evaluate our students and we encourage them so that they will improve. Okay? Kaya tayo nagtatrack para magkaroon sila ng improvement sa sarili nila. Okay? And the last one is, marami pa actually. So for now, this is the 10th, allow students to work together. So even in online classes, di ba meron tayong tinatawag ng mga break room or pwede naman partner sila. So we should also make activities that will allow students to work together. Hindi yung, kasi may mga estudyante tayo na gusto siya lang mag-isa eh. Hindi nyo ba napapansin yun? Pagka nag-groupings kayo, sabihin ng isang estudyante, sure, pwede ba ako na lang mag-isa ang gagawa ng gano'n. Ayoko na may ka-partner kasi ganito ganoon. So, pagka inalaw natin yon palagi na, sige, do it on your own na lang. Hindi siya natututo na makipag-mingle or to socialize, and hindi niya matututunan paano makipag-trabaho sa ibang estudyante. In the long term, pag nagtatrabaho na siya, magiging loner din siya sa trabaho. Hindi siya marunong makipag-collaborate with our other workers or other staff. Okay? So, ito yung mga ginagawa ng isang motivated teacher. So, alam na natin yung what. Now, why is academic success important? So, the first one, bakit? Ito medyo nahirapan ako dito kasi wala kang makukuha ang sagot eksakto na pagka ginugol mo, ano na yung why, because hindi. Talagang hinanap ko siya. And I found out that academic success is also the result of academic achievement, which also result character growth. So kahit sabihin mong ano pa lang yan, preschooler pa lang yan, or grade schooler, high schooler, or nasa college, dapat merong character growth. Okay? So, pero as we know, as early as preschool, actually, ano pa nga lang toddlers pa lang yan, may character na yan Na, ang parents ang nagmo-mold kung paano ang magiging character ng isang bata, kung magiging brat ba to or magiging obedient ba siya. Di ba? Nagsisimula sa parents yan di ba? So tayo, yung mga academic achievements natin, dapat mag-result ito ng growth sa character. Di ba? So kung sabi mong achiever ka, pero wala makitang pagbabago sa character, hindi success yun Di ba? Matalino ka nga, pero nung nakatapos ka na, ganito naman ang ginagawa mo, illegal ang trabaho, ang negosyo mo. So, walang character growth doon. So, hindi natin masasabing success siya. Di ba? Hindi siya academic success kasi bakit naman yung mga illegal ang example ko lang yun Bakit naman illegal pa yung gagawin ng trabaho or negosyo? Ano ka? Ang ganda-ganda ng scholastic performance mo. Anyway, example lang po yun. In-exaggerate ko lang. Pero totoo yun na hindi lahat ng nakatapos maganda ang character. Di ba? So, importante sa lahat yung character growth. So here, pag sinabi natin character growth, andun yung investment of energy. Even from little children pa lang, tinuturuan natin sila na mag-invest ng effort, di ba? Ng time para mag-exercise, mag-practice, to develop their skills, to do their homeworks. May investment of energy diyan. Hanggang mag-high school, mag-college. So, kung nade-develop ang character, andun din yung development ng investment of energy. 'Di ba? And of course, kasama sa character growth yung tinatawag nating value development. So, in our school, if you notice, yung name ng school namin, Livingston Christian School of Cavite. So, yung Cavite namin, meron siyang acronym siya actually. So, bago pa nauso yung mga multiple intelligence na yan. Ganun. Meron na kaming ang ibig sabihin ng Cavite is cognitive, affective, values, integration to team experiences. So, yon ang meaning actually ng Cavite sa pangalan ng school namin. So, dapat meron laging value development. So, bakit mo to gagawin? Let's say you have an activity or a curricular activity in the school. Bakit gagawin yon? Is it only for the grades? So, ini-implicate natin sa estudyante na you are doing this to develop values. Hindi lang para makakuha ng mataas na grade. Ano yung mga values na, meron tayong values education, di ba? So ano ba yung value ng mga bagay-bagay na pinapagawa natin sa mga estudyante natin? So the student will also learn to value things in life. Di ba? And of course, dapat andun din yung tinatawag nating goal-setting behavior. So, mamaya matatouch pa natin yung goal-setting na yan. Kasi, if we are motivated teachers, I said, then we have motivated students. So, kung motivated tayo, syempre, we have our goals as teachers. So, maaano din natin yan, ma-impart din natin sa mga estudyante natin yan na magkaroon ng goals sa buhay nila. So they also will learn how to make goals in their lives. O bakit mo ito gagawin? O ba't ka pupunta dyan? Anong purpose mo? Diba? So, andun yung laging pinag-iisip natin yung mga estudyante natin so that they can also have the opportunity to make decisions for themselves. And that is called making strategic choices in life. And of course, kapag ka merong character growth, merong self-esteem. Okay? Self-esteem. So, you respect yourself, you value yourself. And sabi nga diba sa Bible, if you want to be loved, you have to love others, diba? Do others what you want others to do unto you. Okay? So, kung pinapahalagahan mo yung sarili mo, you have self-esteem, then you will be also able to respect other people. Okay? And with character growth, there is responsibility. The bigger the responsibility, the wider the freedom will be. Okay? So, mas malaya ka, mas malaki din ang responsibilities mo. Diba? So, magka-connect sila. So if you want to be responsible, if you want to be free, you have to be responsible. So yun, tinuturuan natin ang mga estudyante natin na maging responsable sila. And they have to also face consequences of their actions. Right? So we also have independence. Yung nasabi natin as early as preschool, we can also teach our children to make choices for themselves and to become independent. Hindi yung laging nakadepende sa teacher. Na pag wala na si teacher, nagkakagulo na yung mga estudyante, wala nang gagawin. So, ang mga estudyante natin kahit lumabas saglit si teacher, pagbalik, nagagawa pa rin ng activities ang estudyante, di ba? Tinatapos nila yung dapat nilang gawin. Pero, sabi nga, Hindi naman dapat palagi lagi na lang labas ng teacher. Pagka ganon, example ko lang yung paglabas-labas. Magkakagulo na kapag ka lagi-lagi. Bakit? Malalaman natin mamaya sa huli. Okay? And of course, with character growth, there is also what we call as spiritual growth and development. So, in our school, since our school is a Christian school, we also give emphasis to not to religion, but to their spiritual relationship to God. So as early as this age, di ba sabi nga, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So kaya ang mga estudyante, maganda na tinuturuan din natin sila na how to connect to God. Right? So let me share with you this video. Wait, teka lang ha. Share. Nakashare na po ba?
Yes
Okay.
po, miss, but we can't hear anything.
Ah, okay. Nakamute pa. Okay. Sige, start natin.
We want to do well at school for an obvious reason, because, as we're often told, it's the primary route to doing well at life. Few of us are in love with the A grades themselves. We want them because we're understandably interested in one day having a fulfilling career, a pleasant house, and the respect of others. But sometimes, more often than seems entirely reassuring, something pretty confusing occurs. We come across people who triumphed at school but flunked at life, and vice versa. The former stars, who once knew exactly how to satisfy their teachers, may now be flatlining in a law office or relocating to a provincial town in the hope of finding something better. The path that seemed guaranteed to lead to success has run into the sand. We shouldn't actually be surprised. School curricula are not designed by people who necessarily have much experience of or talent at the world beyond. School curricula are not reverse engineered from fulfilled adult lives in the here and now. They were intellectually influenced by all kinds of slightly random forces over hundreds of years of evolution, shaped by, among other things, the curricula of medieval monasteries, the ideas of some 19th century German educationalists, and the concerns of aristocratic court societies. This helps to explain the many bad habits that schools can inculcate. They suggest that the most important things are already known, that what is all that could be. They can't help but warn us about the dangers of originality. They want us to put up our hands and wait to be asked. They want us to keep asking other people for permission. They teach us to deliver on rather than change expectations. They teach us to redeploy ideas rather than originate them. They teach us to respect people in authority rather than imagine that, in rather inspiring ways, no one actually knows quite what's going on. They teach us everything other than the two skills that really determine the quality of adult life: knowing how to choose the right job for us and knowing how to form satisfactory relationships. They'll instruct us in Latin and how to measure the circumference of a circle long before they teach us these core subjects: work and love. That said, it isn't that all we need to do to succeed at life is flunk school. A good life requires us to do two very tricky things: be a very good boy or girl for 20 years and simultaneously never really believe blindly in the long-term validity or seriousness of what we're being asked to study. We need to be outwardly entirely obedient while inwardly, intelligently, and unashamedly rebellious.
So, okay, so Sabi doon, ang importante daw, ano daw? Work and love. So, yung pinakita ko sa inyong video, reality yun eh, di ba? So,
The modern American
excuse
school
me.
system does
Wait
not
lang
encourage.
Nag-pray. Okay, so reality sa atin yun kasi, no, na ang mga estudyante natin, akala natin, pagka nakakuha ng maraming achievements, okay, ito, very good. Pero inside pala, meron ng rebellious heart. Diba? Pasok dito, labas doon, ganun na pala nangyari. So, importante na ang mga estudyante natin, ma-impart natin sa kanila yung work and love. It's not only work. Kailangan meron ding love. So, dito papasok yung value development natin. Na kailangan, it's not only love for themselves, but also love for others. And they should also love their works. So, aside from growth, okay, so isa pang importance ng academic success is academic success leads to professional success, desirable workplace, and it also leads to shaping our own future. So, makikita natin to yung success, hindi lang yung makakuha ng medalya, ng trophy, ng mataas na grade. It should also lead to professional success. Yan. Yung workplace mo. Do you love your work? Ay, naku, Monday na naman, papasok na naman sa school. Or ganoon ang lumalabas sa bibig natin. Or sa ating mga estudyante, dapat nandun yung excitement ng mga estudyante natin. So kung ang teacher excited pumasok sa school, as I've said, na-influence natin ang mga estudyante natin. Pagka tayo may problemado sa bahay, dinala sa school, nararamdaman ng mga estudyante natin yun. Kaya sila, ganun din. Ang estudyante natin, ano ba, galing sa bahay, papasok sa school, ang iniwan sa bahay, may problema, nag-away si mommy and daddy. Pagdating sa school, dala din ng estudyante yun. So kasi, gagayahin tayo ng mga estudyante natin. That's why, bago nga matuto ang mga estudyante, dapat tayo muna mga teachers, gagawin din natin to. Okay? So, academic success leads to shaping our own future. So, kung nasaan tayo ngayon, can we say that we are in our successful journey in life? Should be yes. Okay? Teka. Napakita ko na ba sa inyo itong video na to? Hindi ko matandaan. Di pa? Yes or no? Napakita ko na po ba ito? O yung isa?
Yung 3 minutes video po ba?
Ito. Teka. Pasensya na kayo. Marami kasing video.
I'm a top freelancer.
Right.
Instead of working at one Fortune 500 company,
I have the opportunity to.
Who are you going to be? And if you'll notice, I'm not asking what are you going to do.
Kita niyo po?
Yes po.
Wala po.
Students in your class next year just don't respond to your lessons. For all of you going into business, how will you react when your boss gives you a goal that feels way too high? See, these are the moments that define us. Not the day you get the promotion, not the day you win Teacher of the Year, but the times that force you to claw and scratch and fight just to get through the day. The moments when you get knocked down and you're wondering whether it's even worth it to get back up. See, those are the times when you've got to ask yourself, who am I going to be? And I want to be clear, this isn't just some vague platitude about building character. In recent years, we've actually been seeing a growing body of research that shows that skills like resilience and conscientiousness can be just as important to your success as your test scores or even your IQ. For instance, West Point cadets who scored high on things like grit and determination were more likely to complete basic training than those who ranked high on things like class rank, SAT scores, and physical fitness. So what we're seeing is that if you're willing to dig deep, if you're willing to pick yourself up when you fall, if you're willing to work and work until your weaknesses become your strengths, then you'll develop a set of skills that you can mold and apply to any situation you encounter, any job you might have, any crisis you might confront. But you got to make that choice. And let me just share just a little secret before I end. As someone who has hired and managed hundreds of young people over the course of my career, whether it was during my time as a lawyer, as an administrator, as a university, a nonprofit manager, even now as First Lady, I have never once asked someone I was interviewing to explain a test score or a grade in a class. Never. I have never once made a hire just because someone went to an Ivy League school instead of a state school. Never. What I have looked for is what kind of person you are. Are you a hard worker? Are you reliable? Are you open to other viewpoints? Have you stepped outside of your own self-interest to serve others? Have you found a way to serve our country, whether in uniform or in your community? Again and again, I have seen that those are the qualities that I want on my team, because those are the qualities that move our businesses and schools and our entire country forward. And just understand this. Those are the qualities that you all already embody. They're the values you learned from your parents, from the communities you grew up in. And today, more than ever before, that's what the world needs.
Okay. So, oh, yeah. Ang ganda ng speech niya, di ba? Of course, I'm sure you know her. She is the wife of President Obama. So she's not just the wife of President Obama, but first of all, she said she was a teacher, a manager, a lawyer, before she became the First Lady. So, totoo lahat yung sinabi niya. And I am also amazed by what she said when she told us that she never asked a question about the grade of one of her interviewee, right? So, sino sa atin yung naka-experience ng ganoon nung nag-a-apply ng work? Di ba pagka nag-apply tayo ng trabaho, tinitingnan yung ano natin, mga credentials, ba? Transcript. Tapos tatanungin tayo, ba't mababa ka sa ganitong subject pala? O ano nangyari? Naka-experience ba kayo ng ganoon? Na mayroong mag-hire sa'yo, mag-interview sa'yo, tapos tatanungin ka kung ano ka ba, kung laude ka ba? Ano ba mga na-achieve mong honor sa school na pinanggalingan mo? Meron ba kayong na-encounter na gano'n? Kasi ako meron eh. Yung na-encounter akong gano'n dati. Pero sabi ni Michelle Obama, hindi niya ginawa minsan yun. And I hope we will also follow that principle too. Diba? Hindi sa wala sa papel, wala sa grade. Sabi niya, it's how this person is. Kung ano yung pagkatao mo. What is your attitude? What is your behavior? Okay? So, how do students achieve academic success? So, how does it work? Diba? Ano ang susi dito? Alam na natin for one, na ang teacher, isa yan sa factor ng success ng estudyante. But here, I'm going to share with you the factors for academic success. What are these? The first one is mindset and attitude. Yan, nasabi ko na kanina yan. We have to cultivate a growth mindset. Kasi there are two kinds of mindset actually. So it's called as the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So marami sa mga estudyante natin, they have fixed mindset. Sino yung mga estudyante yun or mga taong yun? Sila yung mga they only believe in their innate or born talents and abilities. Ay, matalino tong batang to kasi ang nanay niyan ganito, ang tatay niyan ganito. Kaya matalino din yan. And then, kapag ganun ang na-develop sa bata, yung nakalakihan niya, tapos nag-fail siya, nagkakaroon ng disappointment. Instead of being challenged, nada-down. Diba? Kasi wala siyang growth mindset. Naka-fix lang siya. Ganito lang talaga ako. Or mahina talaga ako. Or something like that. So here, as teachers, let us help our students to develop or cultivate a growth mindset. Okay? So, share ko ulit sa inyo to. Kita niyo po ba?
Yes po.
The phrase growth mindset has become almost ubiquitous. First coined by researcher and professor of psychology at Stanford University, Carol Dweck, it has been adopted by everyone from school administrators to business executives to professional athletes. NBA champion and basketball superstar LeBron James has been quoted by the New York Post as saying, "It's always about a growth mindset. It's the fact that you know that you can do better, even at our age, even with our accolades, even with what we've done in our careers, we still feel like we can improve." According to Dweck herself, it is the belief that skills and intelligence can be grown and developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others. Those with a growth mindset tend to achieve more than those with a more fixed mindset because they focus less on looking smart and more on learning and growing. It's about getting better. While thinking about what a growth mindset is, it's important to consider what it isn't. A growth mindset isn't just an attitude of keeping an open mind or a positive outlook. It isn't a matter of maintaining a belief that good things will come your way. It isn't just a matter of praising or rewarding effort. And it isn't keeping with a fixed mindset. Fixed mindsets are all too common, both in business and in general. Those with a fixed mindset maintain the belief that skills and intelligence are predetermined. They are irrationally concerned with being right and looking good in front of others. The fixed mindset suggests that learning should be effortless. You either have a knack for it or you don't. It encourages you to avoid mistakes at all costs and views challenges as roadblocks and barriers. It pigeonholes what success is and who can achieve it. Conversely, a key characteristic of the growth mindset asserts that skills and knowledge can be and are developed, and that learning requires time and effort. It is not set, but rather fluid and capable of being nurtured. Further characteristics are that it treats mistakes as learning opportunities, and the challenges that mistakes generate simply as obstacles that need to be overcome. A growth mindset focuses on yet. It is the hallmark of the growth mindset. I have not learned this yet. I may not be able to do this yet, but I can work hard and get better. And this is not just pop psychology. Research in brain science has proven that our brains grow and evolve constantly. We can and do create new neural pathways throughout our lives. This ability is called neuroplasticity, and studies are conclusive that, with effort, we can continue to learn and grow skills and talent even if we don't entirely believe it yet. A growth mindset allows for the potential and promise of learning, getting better, increasing your knowledge and skills. It encourages achieving ever higher levels of potential and performance, even if you haven't gotten all the way there yet.
Yeah, okay. So, andun yung, pag meron tayong hindi natin kayang gawin, sabihin natin, hindi ko pa kayang gawin, pero magagawa ko yan. We can always say, I can do better. Sige nga, sabihin natin. I can do better.
Can do better.
Okay. Yan. So, kapag meron tayo hindi kayang gawin, lagyan natin ng yep. Hindi ko pa kaya, pero makakaya ko yan. Okay? So, ang brain natin, nagpo-produce pa pala siya ng neurons. Diba? So, there's no stopping for us to learn. Diba? Kahit at this age, we can learn new things. We can have new interests. We don't say, ay naku, matanda na ako, ayoko na mag-aral. Or ayoko na, hindi na ako para dyan. Ganoon. So we can always cultivate our minds that we can still grow. And sabi niya kanina, it's not about being positive only. Hindi, sige, kaya mo yan, kaya mo. Pero wala ka namang ginagawa. Paano makakaya ang isang bagay? You have to work. You have to learn. Okay? Next, by embracing and learning from mistakes and viewing your brain like a muscle, you'll learn more and conform better in school. So, di ba ang muscle, kailangan nag-exercise ka, di ba? Kung gusto mo magkaroon ng biceps dito, kailangan may ginagawa kang mga routines or exercises. So, ganun din sa brain natin on our mindset growth. Kailangan, meron din tayong gagawin para ma-cultivate ito. Okay? Yan. So, there are 5 factors for academic success. The first one is cultivate growth mindset. And the second one is about strategy and choices. So, yeah, let's learn to set goals and gather facts about how to reach those goals. So, tuturuan din natin ng mga estudyante natin how to set their own goals in life. Diba? So, usually tayo kasi kahit kami noon, ginagawa natin yung what do you want to be when you grow up, diba? Parang masyadong malaki yon. Like for a preschooler, pero pwede namang mangarap. At yung mga pangarap na yun, nagbabago pa yun, diba? Ako nga, nung elementary ako, sabi ko gusto kong maging doktor. Tapos nung high school na ako, gusto kong maging journalist. Ganon, pero nagbago because of the interest, diba? And siguro, ako nga, I never have dreamed in my life that I will be a teacher. Pero naging teacher ako. Kasi andun din yung guidance ni Lord. And at pangalawa nga, sabi nga natin, kung saan tayo nakikita yung potential natin, doon ka. Before you do something of the impossible, in-nurture mo muna yung mga strengths mo. Diba? Kung saan ka naandyan na. Kasi ako, alam ko na magturo sa mga bata yung sa Sunday school, yon ganoon. Pero hindi ko pinangarap talaga na maging career yung maging teacher. Pero dito ako napunta. Okay? So you also have to consider different options and make actionable plans. So when you make choices, dapat mayroong strategy. Diba? So ito, tingnan natin itong yan, yung table na to. So here, we can make possibilities para makagawa ng action or solution to a problem. So, tuturuan natin yung mga estudyante natin how to strategize, how to make choices. So, let's say here is the problem, and then you reframe the problem as a strategic choice and put down all the possibilities. So, what should be true? Ano dito yung achievable? Ano dito yung posible? Ano kaya ang mga hindrances or barriers para masolve itong problemang to? Okay, so, di ba sabi nga, try and try again until you succeed. Di ba? Si Einstein na, di ba? Ilang beses siya hindi pala si Einstein. Pangalan nun? I forgot the name of the Yung nag-imbento ng ng bombilya. Einstein nga ba yun? Okay, so di ba nakailang siya? Nakailang try? May mental block ako. Nag-try siya ng try bago saka lang siya nag-succeed after 1,000 times, di ba? So, kapag ka nakita mo nag-fail ka dito, huwag mo na siyang ulitin. Iba naman ang gawin mong action. Okay? So, tuturuan din natin ng mga estudyante natin to how to make strategies and choices so that they will succeed in life. Okay? So, motivation and confidence. Yeah, medyo na-touch na rin natin to kanina. So, when you are motivated, interested, calm, focused, you are most likely to experience what is known as flow. So, andun yung flow. Di ba, alam natin to kapag nagtuturo tayo, di ba, when we motivate our students with our introduction, with our preliminary activities, at nakita na effective siya, andun agad yung flow. Pag nagturo tayo, di ba? So, meron ding, nade-develop din yung confidence kapag namomotivate natin yung mga estudyante natin. So, this zone is a moment focused on excelling at the task. Okay? So next is the study habits and brain science. So itong topic na to medyo broad siya, pero very interesting. So we deliberately focus on practice in which you deconstruct skills into simpler, noble chunks and maintaining a high degree of focus and concentration. So, sabi nga natin, kapag when we strategize choices, we always ask the question, have you set goals, gathered facts, and have you considered different options and made a plan? Di ba yun ang tinatanong natin when we strategize. But when we motivate, we always ask this question, how interested, focused, and comfortable are you? Okay? So, do we ask our students how interested they are with what we are teaching to them? Do we ask our children, our students, if they are comfortable? Okay? So, let us remember that making choices is very hard. But when we motivate, nakakaroon sila ng confidence. So, they can also have the confidence to make their own choices. Okay? So when we motivate, we also ask this question, do you study and practice deliberately using our techniques proven to enhance learning, memory, and self-development? So tanongin natin yung mga estudyante natin, nagpa-practice ka ba? Ginagawa mo ba yung mga drills? Okay? So about study habits naman, let us remember that the key is study habits and brain science. So yun nga, we deconstruct skills. So wag tayo doon sa, di ba, merong mga lessons na parang very, very, very big to grasp kapag pinirasan natin sa mga estudyante natin. So, we should also teach our children to maintain a high degree of focus and concentration. Okay? So, test the students for understanding. Okay? So, we can also get expert feedback from other educators or teachers. And if there are mistakes, you have to we have to teach the children or the students to embrace mistakes as if you have to push forward. Pag may mali, okay lang yan, sige, bawi. Ito, itama ang mali. Balik ang confidence. Diba? So let us remember that quality is more important than quantity. So high quality of practice is better than longer time of practice. Diba? Okay, so sa number 4, it should lead to lot of learning per minute rather than longer hours. Diba? Yung kahit na ilang minuto lang yan, may natutunan ng bata sa'yo. Kasi doon sa pagkahaba-habang oras, na isang oras kang paliwanag ng paliwanag, tapos nung tinanong mo, sa dami ng sinabi mo, walang naintindihan ng estudyante. Okay? So the last one is, may papakita ko sa inyo video. Konti na lang po.
Neuroscience and education. Thousands of teachers around the country are learning about an alternative teaching approach that aims to use scientific discoveries about the brain to improve the way children learn in the classroom.
Kita niyo po ba?
Yes po.
Sige, tuloy ko.
Special correspondent John Talenko of Learning Matters reports from Philadelphia.
When I say class, you stop what you're doing. Look at the teacher.
Today is Wacky Wednesday in Giselle Sereno's third grade classroom, which explains the blue wig.
So I want you to teach your neighbor why.
But the rest of what you're about to see is what her classroom looks like every day.
Oh, giant gesture. Giant gesture.
She uses a set of techniques some call whole brain teaching.
A lot of times in traditional teaching, you're just lecturing and you're talking and talking. And what we like to say, whole brainers, we like to say that the more you talk, the more students you lose. And so we use different methods to engage multiple parts of the brain, and that way you get 100% of engagement.
These days, scientists can look further into the brain than ever, pinpointing the neurons and circuits that control how we think and act. All that sparking a movement that's changing the way some teachers teach.
Are there parts of the brain that you're aiming at?
Yes, the hippocampus, the motor cortex, the prefrontal cortex, which is the brain's boss. So something like class.
Class, class. Yes, 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 yes.
It turns on the prefrontal cortex, which makes the brain's decisions. So it says, hey, pay attention. I'm about to tell you something.
Back straight up. Back straight up.
So once I have their attention, I teach the material usually through mirrors.
Mirrors.
This deals with the mirror neurons in your brain. And so what I say, they repeat.
Now.
To learn anything, you have to repeat something. You have to repeat something that's modeled to you. That's where it starts.
A lot of times in your class, I saw you gesture.
The main idea.
And then you asked your students to gesture.
Right. That's for engaging their motor cortex. When you act things out while you're reading, you comprehend more. And we use brainies. These are gestures that are tied to writing skills.
Can you give me some examples?
Sure. For example is an example.
In addition.
But or however. If, then, so more of like a cause and effect. Adjective, a noun is a person, place, or a thing. Compare, contrast, simile, metaphor. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yo, class. Yo, yes.
I saw you a bunch of times where you would stop.
Oh, freeze.
And then you would say to the group, teach.
Teach.
What's going on there?
So I've taught them the lesson, but now they need to teach that main point to each other. They're getting another repetition of the material, but this time, a lot of times, it's in their own words, and they're learning how to put things in their own words. You're writing while you're doing it. You're gesturing, so you're remembering it in different parts of the brain. You're not just listening, you're also speaking. You need to be doing all of these things at once in order to engage the whole brain.
We wanted to know if science actually backed up any of this. So we brought a video of Giselle's class to Daphna Shohami, a neuroscientist at Columbia University.
I buy it. It makes great sense to me. I mean, the brain is really in many ways wired for actions, right? It's really not wired to sit passively and absorb any information. But I think where I'd not fully agree is the idea that more activity is always good. More brain activity in more places does not equal more learning or better memory.
Okay. How can children learn better?
Right. Yeah, it's a $1 million question. I think we have some answers. The brain learns when things are surprising and interesting.
What is going on here?
So if I give you a $20 bill, now all of a sudden, you'll sort of have a burst of activity in your dopamine neurons. They fire. But if I do that regularly, like every 5 minutes, I give you $20, your dopamine neurons will stop firing. So what these neurons are doing is they're signaling how unexpected an event was in the world. They're not signaling how good or bad it was. They're signaling how unexpectedly good or unexpectedly bad it was. So keeping things a little bit noisy and a little bit different is actually really beneficial for learning in many different ways.
Yeah. Hold your horses.
That's an idiom.
Neuroscience says there's something else important going on here.
When you're learning things, just even in life, you connect it with a type of feeling. And so the main emotion we want you to feel in a whole brain classroom is fun.
Seriously?
Our brain was evolved to survive. We need to remember things that were of emotional and social significance. That's probably much more important than remembering any bit of information that was communicated to us within a lecture.
We're done being blah. It's time to get spicy.
Here are a few other things neuroscientists think the rest of us should know about the brain. That stress damages neurons and impairs learning. Brain training games claim to be effective, but in fact the jury's still out. What does help is regular physical exercise. Staying active keeps the brain developing and delays cognitive decline as we get older. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I'm John Tulenko reporting for the NewsHour.
You might know the main idea.
As for results, a study on the effect of whole brain teaching in one California elementary school found test scores in math and language arts rose by an average of 11%. Next, neuroscience and education. Thousands of teachers around the country are learning about an alternative teaching approach that aims to use scientific discovery.
Okay, we're back. Ay, wait lang ha. Malulobat na pala po ako. Wait lang po saglit.
While waiting for Miss Julie, you can send in your questions again to our Slido account at slido.com/UL. Thank you.
Sorry. Hello? Ayan. Sorry po. Hindi ko po pala na-charge yung Ayan. So, that is something new for us. Siguro, baka sa akin lang, about brain science. So, nakita natin sana lahat ng teachers, ganun tayong magturo na lahat ng ginagawa nila, yung classroom management niya, there is a reason why she was doing that. So, alam niya kung anong part ng brain ang nag-ooperate or na-stimulate, di ba? And sabi niya, stress damages neurons. Kaya dapat wag din natin hayaan na ma-stress ang mga estudyante natin. And hindi din dapat ma-stress ang mga teachers. Okay? So, nakashare na po ba ako? Yan. So we have the last one, which is time management and organization. So hindi ko na masyadong i-discuss to kasi alam niyo na tong time management na to, di ba? So I would like to share to you a video na pwede nating i-share sa mga estudyante natin. Okay? Pwede pa po ba? Ay, sorry. Meron pa po ba tayong time? Miss Tricia? Okay lang po? Pwede pa?
Okay lang po.
Are we running out of time? Okay, so sige, share natin.
Time management. Time management means organizing your schedule so you get things done without feeling too overwhelmed or stressed out. Here are some tips for time management. Use a day planner or calendar. Write down assignments, tests, meetings, practices, and important events so you won't forget about them. Make a to-do list. Write all your assignments and tasks down and check them off as you complete them. Include deadlines or when they need to be done. Don't procrastinate. If you can get it done now, do it. Try not to leave things until the last minute. Plan ahead. If you are going on vacation the same day you have an assignment due, make plans to finish it and turn it in early. Use your time wisely. Don't let time get wasted. Use free time between activities. Tackle your reading assignment on the bus ride to school or to a sports competition. If you are busy after school, try to find time to complete work during the school day. For example, during homeroom or study hall. It's great to be involved in different after-school activities, but if you feel run down, it might be time to let some things go. Pray. Trust that God will help you succeed. You won't be worried or stressed. Prioritize. Our order of priorities should be God, family, school, and then friends. Attending the worship service should be the most important event in our lives, so write it in your calendar and to-do lists. When you get home from school while your homework is fresh on your mind, it is best to do all of it before you hang out with your friends. Manage your time before time manages you. What are some of your tips for time management?
Okay. So, even us, we can also share that to our students, yung video na yon. Meron pa sana akong gustong ipakita na isang video about time management, but I think we are running out of time. So, let's move on to the next one. I-share ko na lang sa inyo yung link ng video if you want. So, this is called Pomodoro Technique. So, doon sa next video kasi i-mention niya nung speaker yung tungkol sa Pomodoro Technique. Actually, the speaker there sa TED's seminar is a high school student. So ito pwede din natin itong gawin, not only the students. Have you ever heard about Pomodoro Technique? Yes? So, ito yung ginagawa natin. So, kapag nagpapagawa din tayo ng activities sa mga estudyante, we should also consider the extent of time that we give. Like, the process is you choose the task, and then you set the timer, focus. When we say focus, walang distraction, walang istorbo. Let's say for 25 or 15 minutes for a start. 15 minutes na walang ibang iniisip, hindi magsa-cellphone or iinom, iihi. Dapat nakastick ka 15 minutes. And then after that, take a break. So dito 20 minutes kasi medyo mahaba yung time of focus niya. And then you repeat. So that is the Pomodoro Technique. We can practice this, teachers, and then share this to our students. Okay? So next is, of course, we are almost at the end. So what is academic excellence? So our children should study to expand their horizons. We also have these webinars to expand our horizons, right? So it should be demonstrated ability to perform, achieve, and excel in scholastic activities. And it should also be identified with achieving high grades and superior performance. But nevertheless, it is more than just making good grades. Okay? Reminder ulit sa atin, it's not about making good grades. I just remember kasi in our school, we have this what we call as academic excellence during when we have our recognition day. We award our students with excellence awards. But here we realize that it is the maximum development of their intellectual capacities and skills in service to humanity. Okay? So not only for themselves, but also for the service to humanity. Okay? So that is the student success. And before we end, so I would like to share to you the secrets of success in 8 words to be delivered to us in 3 minutes through a video. So these are the following. 8 yan. Passion, work, good, focus, push, serve ideas, and persist. So let's listen to Richard St. John. May ads pa. Yan.
This is really a 2-hour presentation I give to high school students, cut down to 3 minutes. And it all started one day on a plane on my way to TED, 7 years ago. And in the seat next to me was a high school student, a teenager, and she came from a really poor family. And she wanted to make something of her life. And she asked me a simple little question. She said, "What leads to success?" And I felt really badly because I couldn't give her a good answer. So I get off the plane and I come to TED. And I think, geez, I'm in the middle of a room of successful people. So why don't I ask them what helped them succeed and pass it on to kids? So here we are, 7 years, 500 interviews later, and I'm going to tell you what really leads to success and makes TEDsters tick. And the first thing is passion. Freeman Thomas says, "I'm driven by my passion." TEDsters do it for love, they don't do it for money. Carol Coletta says, "I would pay someone to do what I do." And the interesting thing is, if you do it for love, the money comes anyway. Work. Rupert Murdoch said to me, "It's all hard work. Nothing comes easily, but I have a lot of fun." Did he say fun, Rupert? Yes. TEDsters do have fun working, and they work hard. I figure they're not workaholics, they're workaholics. Good. Alex Garden says, to be successful, put your nose down in something and get damn good at it. There's no magic, it's practice, practice, practice. And it's focus. Norman Jewison said to me, "I think it all has to do with focusing yourself on one thing." And push. David Gallo says, push yourself. Physically, mentally, you've got to push, push, push. You got to push through shyness and self-doubt. Goldie Hawn says, "I always had self-doubts. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I didn't think I'd make it." Now, it's not always easy to push yourself, and that's why they invented mothers. Frank Gehry said to me, "My mother pushed me." Serve. Sherwin Newland says, "It was a privilege to serve as a doctor." Now, a lot of kids tell me they want to be millionaires, and the first thing I say to them is, okay, well, you can't serve yourself. You got to serve others something of value, because that's the way people really get rich. Ideas. TEDster Bill Gates says, "I had an idea. Founding the first microcomputer software company. I'd say it was a pretty good idea." And there's no magic to creativity and coming up with ideas. It's just doing some very simple things. And I give lots of evidence. Persist. Joe Kraus says persistence is the #1 reason for our success. You got to persist through failure. You got to persist through crap, which of course means criticism, rejection, assholes, and pressure. So the answer to this question is simple. Pay $4,000 and come to TED. Or failing that, do the 8 things, and trust me, these are the big 8 things that lead to success. Thank you, testers, for all your interviews.
Okay. So, hindi ko na explain na kasi kulang na tayo sa oras. I hope you are learning a lot today. And for the last, ito po yung gusto kong iwanan sa inyo. About success.
Miss, excuse me po, you can't see the video.
Hello, Mrs. Julie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We can see your screen po. Are you sharing your video po ba?
Yes. Ay, sorry. Hindi nyo makita? Patay
Yes.
tayo.
Okay po.
Sorry. Sayang. Teka, ulitin natin.
Have
Yeah,
all
kita
been
nyo na
promoted.
po. Kita
Yes
na?
po. Yes
Yan.
po.
Okay.
Once upon a time, there was a young man who worked at a factory.
Sorry.
His mentor, an old technician, taught him to talk less, do more, and never stop developing his skills in every aspect of the factory's operations. 10 years later, the old man retired, and the young man became a technician himself. He continued to do his work with the same dedication and diligence as he was taught. One day, he visited his mentor. The old man saw that he seemed unhappy and asked what was troubling him. The young man sighed and poured his heart out. I have been following your instructions exactly all these years. No matter what I work on, I keep quiet and focus on the job. I know I have done good work at the factory, and I have learned all the skills that can be learned there. What I don't understand is that the guys who don't have my experience or capabilities have all been promoted, while I am still making as little as I did before when I was your apprentice. The old man asked, "Are you positive that you have become indispensable to the factory?" The young man nodded, yes. The old man paced back and forth to think. After a while, he turned to the young man. "You must request a day off, using whatever reason you like. It is time for you to give yourself a break." The young man was surprised by this advice, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. He thanked his teacher and left quickly to make a time off request. When he returned to work after his day off, the manager called him into the office to tell him that things did not go well at the factory while he was gone. Others encountered many problems that normally would be handled by him, and they had no idea how to solve them. Realizing his importance, the manager decided to promote him to the position of senior technician, to thank him and encourage him to keep up the good work. The young man was grateful for his mentor's wisdom. Surely, he thought, this was the secret to success. From that point on, whenever the young man felt like he deserved more than what he was getting, he would take a day off. When he came back the next day, the situation would improve to his satisfaction. This pattern continued for months. One day, the young man found that he was blocked from going into the factory. Much to his shock, he found out that his employment was terminated. He could not believe it. Not knowing what else to do, he went back to see his mentor to try to figure out how things had gone so wrong. "Why did I lose my job?" he asked with wounded pride. "Did I not do everything as you instructed?" "Actually, you did not, because you heard only half the lesson," the old man shook his head. "You understood right away that no one pays any attention to a light bulb that is always on. It is only when it goes off that people suddenly take notice and realize they've been taking it for granted. You were so eager to apply this understanding
that you left before hearing the second half. Second half, it began to dawn on the young man that perhaps he made a big mistake. What was the second half? The mentor spoke slowly to make his point. The second half, more important than the first, is the realization that if a light bulb goes off frequently, then sooner or later it will be replaced with one that is more reliable. Who wants a light bulb that no one can count on to provide illumination? You see, in life, in your life, do you have friends and family members that you take for granted and they're always there for you? What happens if one day they are no longer there? Do not wait for such a day to suddenly realize how important they are. Give thanks today for the good fortune of having them in your life. Also, don't let yourself being taken for granted. But at the same time, do your work and don't stop everything you do just because it doesn't go the way you want it to go. Find the balance in life, and life will reward you with giving you the balance back. This is Dare to Do Motivation Stories. Thanks for watching.
Okay. So, this is how I would like to end our webinar today. I hope that you learned something from me and gawin natin yung sinabi ng matanda. Kahit na mahirap ang work ng teacher, let's continue. Even if things don't go our way, huwag tayo maging kagaya ng bumbilya na aandap-andap, pinalitan. Okay, thanks and God bless you all. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Julian Mojica, for that very informative and comprehensive discussion on how to strengthen student academic success. I know that we have learned a lot, but personally, from the notes that I've taken down, one thing that really struck me the most is that teachers really take responsibility for their students' learning, and that teachers are the agents of learning themselves. So thank you so much for that, Miss Julie. So without much further ado, let's now move forward for our questions and answer portion. Since we have limited time for this, the first one is, how do you impose discipline in your class, especially during online classes? Do you have any approaches to share? Thanks. Ms. Julie?
Okay, how do I impose discipline in our class? So, during online classes, beforehand, I tell my students to prepare themselves. Those who want to drink, put your tumbler beside you. If you want to go to the toilet, do it now so that we can focus on our lessons. And then, if they have some questions, I tell them to put them in the chat box so that it could be answered or addressed. And I always ask them to turn on their cameras so that I can see if they are really focusing on what we are doing. Yun, ano pa ba?
Yeah, thank you so much for Miss Julie. So it really starts by giving a set of rules that students can follow for a more organized class, especially with the online classes today. Thank you so much for that. Well, for the next question, I want to ask the second one, which means that how do you integrate values formation or development in your classes regardless of the subject?
Okay. So, pagdating sa values formation, we always integrate yung mga biblical principles na kayang ma-absorb ng estudyante, like through stories. And we also form values during yung like in generalization sa isang concept. So ano ang kaugnayan nun sa daily life nila? So how are you going to focus on that situation? Paano mo siya i-handle? So binibigyan ko ng mga ganong mga assessment or evaluation ng mga estudyante na kung saan practical talagang na-encounter nila. Like, lalo na ngayon, nasa bahay lang sila. di ba? How much time do they spend using their gadgets to do their homeworks and to just play? Yung maraming mga nilalaro ang mga estudyante ngayon, di ba? So, kahit sabihin mo hindi siya kasama doon sa subject nyo, sa topic, like for example, minsan kasi mga bata ano siya yung pag meron kang nasabi, nako-correlate nila yung sa sitwasyon nila sa bahay. Like for example, halimbawa, ang lesson mo is about yung mga magagandang lugar sa Pilipinas, di ba? Bigla na lang may magsasabi diyan na, sure, gusto ko pumunta diyan sa Palawan. Maganda ba diyan? Diba, ganoon. So, ang gagawin natin ngayon, since medyo related din naman sa topic, di ba? So, pwede natin siyang pag-usapan after ng lesson. Tapos, pwede rin natin siyang i-encourage na, oo, maganda yan. And you will enjoy the place if you go with your family. Parang, you will draw the child towards the family. So there are also needs that only the family can meet, di ba? Kaya ang teachers kasi pagka parang ano kasi tayo ngayon parang may distance. Merong distance because online lang tayo, di ba? So, i-draw natin palagi ang mga bata sa mga magulang nila. Relational. Para kung ano man yung nako-connect nila doon sa lesson na pinag-aaralan nyo, kung hindi man kayo face-to-face na nakikita ng estudyante, alam nila kung sino lalapitan nila. Diba? Sagot ko ba yung tanong?
Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Julie. Na yun nga po, from what you have said, biblical foundation is really important for values formation in a manner that students can understand, and most importantly, the relational aspect where they can reach out to the family or the close people that they're in within the virtual setup. Thank you so much. And I know that there are a lot of questions, but for the last one, Miss Julie, do you also practice interventions with students who don't really do well in your class? Can you share some strategies or ways to help students?
So pagka ganoon na mayroong mga bata na kailangan ng intervention, what I do is I ask them to have a one-on-one meeting with me online. Kasi kung doon mo siya kakausapin in front of the other students, bumababa yung self-esteem ng mga bata, napapahiya sila. So kung ba meron dalawang estudyante, pareho ang problema nila, pareho ang need nila, pwede mo naman silang pagsabayin. Pero pagka ganoon, one-on-one kayo, kung ano yung problema ng bata, saan siya nahihirapan, kung kailangan mo siyang i-review one-on-one, gagawin natin yun. And then, ang ginagawa din natin doon, pagka sa una, kayong dalawa, hindi pa rin nagkaroon ng improvement, so gagawa ulit tayo ng another intervention. And then, kapag ang nakikita naman natin na behavioral, parang yung sa study habits, hindi nag-aaral, so andon kailangan din yung intervention ng magulang. So, we have to inform the student na next time pagka hindi mo pa rin siya ginawa or hindi ka pa rin nag-cooperate, kakausapin ko na yung parent mo. So pag kinausap ko yung parent, sa una, kaming dalawa lang ng parent. Next time, pangatlo, hindi pa rin. Kaharap na yung estudyante. Kaharap yung magulang, kaharap yung estudyante, pero online pa rin po yun. So, naririnig ng bata, naririnig ng magulang kung ano yung sinasabi ng teacher. Yun. So, ano naman siya, effective naman. Pero pinakamaganda doon, hindi na umabot pa sa pangatlo. Maganda, first intervention pa lang, okay na. So, we have to do a lot of encouragement to our students. We can always say, you can do better than this. Kapag meron kami mga exercises at nakita ko yung score ng estudyante ay hindi ganoon kataas, sasabihin ko, you can do better. You play again. Ganoon. Sabi ko, play again. You can do better. So, nasunod naman siya. And then, makikita mo na pag inulit niya yun, nag-i-improve naman yung scores nila. Tsaka, ang ano kasi doon, hindi naman actually yung sa scores, kundi yung before they play again, the exercise, ang tawag namin play again, before they do the exercises again, we analyze first kung saan yung mga hindi nila naintindihan, saan sila nahirapan, papaliwanag mo ulit yun. Yun po.
Thank you so much, Miss Julie. Naturally, one-on-one meeting online so that they'll be understood and listened to. As well, the parents' intervention is really important as well. So that's for the last question. I know that there are still a lot of things in the participants' mind, but since we're running out of time, you can share it to the e-evaluation form later. So let's now move forward to presenting our certificate of appreciation for our research speaker for today. Let me read it for everyone. So this certificate of appreciation is hereby presented to Ms. Julian Mojica for sharing her time and valuable insights as our research speaker in the Cerebro webinar series entitled Strengthening Students' Academic Success, held via Zoom on April 30, 2022, signed by Business Development Officer Ms. Maria Alondra M. Cooper and founder and CEO of Cerebro himself, Mr. Donald Justin U. Ituga. Thank you so much, Ms. Julie.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to thank everyone for active participation. We are already 65 participants strong. And just like what I've said before, I give the link. May I request everyone to please open their cameras to have this photo opportunity together with our research speaker, Miss Julie. Okay, let's see everyone. Let's wait for everyone to open their cameras. I can see some heart reaction from Mr. Christian. Okay. While waiting for everyone, yes, we will be sending after this photo opportunity the evaluation and e-certificate form that you can answer. Okay, is everyone ready? Our Cerebro team will be capturing the photo for us. I can see some people that are still wasn't able to open their cameras. Can you please open your cameras? So, ayan. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Okay, Trisha, thank you. So we have 3 slides. So hold your smiles, everyone. And 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next slide. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. Last slide na tayo. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Alondra. So again, thank you everyone for those who participated in our session this morning. And as I have promised, please go to the link sent in the chat box and as what you can see on your screen as well to answer our online evaluation form. And after answering, there will also be a way to get your e-certificates as well. So please make sure to take note of our evaluation form.